Hey, what is up YouTube? This is the Murmur Master coming at you guys from the Teen Time Riders Yugioh channel today with a new deck profile for you guys. And today I have for you the one and only Don Zalug and his Dark Scorpions. But before I get into this profile, guys, I'd like to give a huge shout out. First and foremost to my good friend Yorgi for hooking me up with this playmat. And secondly, this is the biggest one, is to the one and only Frame NG. After all this time, he ended up buying me a tripod for Christmas. I couldn't be happier, guys. This is going to allow me to make the video shooting way easier. Let us get deck profiles that have maybe a lot more quality in them and really, advance sort of forward the technical level of our YouTube channel. But yeah, I'm excited to bring you guys this deck profile as one of the very first deck profile on this channel using this new tripod and this new playmat, and very excited for it because it's something that I've been working on for a little while, trying to think about ways to play it and looking at different profiles and stuff, but there's not a lot on it. There's not a lot that people have really done on it, but here I am trying to bring it into 2019. So guys, let's get this started. So, as you guys know, this is a Dark Scorpion deck profile modeled after the one and only Don Zalug. And the idea behind this deck is, I can make a deck that spams Dark Scorpions using all the different leg monsters and stuff like that, but that's not fun. The funnest thing about this is that it's supposed to make the Scorpions themselves the be-all, end-all. You're going to try and win your games just with the Scorpions. Yes, you can run an Isolde here and there. Isolde actually really helps out in this deck if you're running into Link stuff, but the goal of this deck, guys, is the Scorpions and just them. So here we go. First things first, we've got 3 copies of Don Zalug. Donnie Z is the big boy in the deck. He's not even a Dark Scorpion himself, but he was sort of the progenitor of all the Dark Scorpions, and he, like every other Dark Scorpion, has abilities that are triggered only when they inflict damage by battle. That's either when, you inflict battle damage through one of their attacks, or you inflict battle damage if someone attacks into you. And they're not once per turn either, but they have 2 separate effects. So their first types of effects are sort of like deck milling, where you either look at cards on the top of your opponent's deck, or you mill 1 or 2 of them to the graveyard. Kind of not really that good. No inherent protection. The second effects are one specific to each Dark Scorpion. Don Zalug himself is not a Dark Scorpion, but his effect is actually one that was really valued in GOAT format, because when he inflicts battle damage, you can discard a card from your opponent's hand that's not once per turn as well. So really good. Next card we have is Mina the Thorn. She also, her specific ability is that when she inflicts battle damage, you can either choose to add any Dark Scorpion card from your deck to your hand, or any Dark Scorpion card from your graveyard to your hand. That, of course, does not include Don Zalug. He's not a member of the archetype, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. We have ways around that. But Mine is your main searcher, so you absolutely got to have her in here at 3. Next, we've got Cliff. Cliff is your MST kind of the deck, if that makes any sense. He's an MST on legs, and when he inflicts battle damage, you can pop a spell or trap, any spell or trap card on the field, which is good for your stuff and your opponent's stuff. And then I'm thinking about bumping this number up to 2, but we've got 1 copy of Chick the Yellow. I've had this guy for a while. He's really good because he was part of some kind of FTK before with Makiura the Destructor, but basically you use him to, when he inflicts battle damage, you can bounce, you can target any card on the field and bounce it back to the hand. And then finally, this guy here, Dark Scorpion Gorg the Strong. You only run 1 of him because he's a level 5, and then when he inflicts battle damage, you can take a monster on the field, and you target a monster on the field or on your opponent's side of the field, and place it on the top of their deck. So it's kind of cool, if you're doing that, and then you have one of those mill effects, so then you can take the monster, put it back on the deck, and then mill it to the graveyard or something. But that's it for the monsters, for the Dark Scorpion monsters. And then we're finally running 2 Mystic Tomatoes as kind of like a search power ability. Nothing too simple, but basically the Dark Scorpions, I got low attack power, no protection. you know, no inherent special summoning abilities. So the idea is to try and make it as easy as possible to get them to the field. And one of the cards that's going to be really, really useful for you is Mustering of the Dark Scorpions. I run it at 2. I'm thinking about bumping it up to 3, but it is tough if you don't have Dark Scorpions in your hand. When you control Don Zalug, special summon any number of Dark Scorpion monsters from your hand, but only one of each name. So you know, this guy can also grab the card like Dark Scorpion Burglars, and if they make other Dark Scorpion monsters like his Legacy support, this card will still be able to summon them, but the problem is you can only special summon them from the hand. So I try to have some cards in here that try to increase your hand size a lot so you can just draw into Dark Scorpions and use them. Next, draw power, 1 copy of Allure of Darkness and 1 copy of Pot of Desires. This is just draw power. I'm thinking about replacing this with like an Extravagance or something, but basically these guys are draw power, and the only problem and the only reason that I'm sort of running 1 of each in here is you really, really don't want to banish your Dark Scorpions. So, you know, you're kind of playing a game between getting your Dark Scorpions using draw power and then not banishing like key ones that you need. Because I was running until very recently DDR, Different Dimension Reincarnation in here, but I found that it was more than often dead rather than not. So that's it for that draw power. And then this card is what really helped to bring this deck to the next level. 2 copies of Backup Squad. For every 1,000 damage you take, it's a mandatory draw 1 card. Really, really awesome, especially because you are always going to be on the losing end in a Dark Scorpion duel. Like, there's very, very little opportunity for you to win. And Backup Squad just basically means if your opponent summons like a couple of Blue Eyes or something, they take you down very, very low. That's, you know, 6 or 7 cards that you get to draw off your deck. And more often than not, you're going to draw into one of your Don Zalugs and at least one of your Mustering the Dark Scorpions and be able to make some special summon plays from there. Next, we got 2 Moon Mirror Shield. This deck's all about battle damage. They're low attacks. You don't really care what their attack power is, but as long as you're inflicting battle damage and getting those effects off and ripping things out of your opponent's hand and, you know, getting stuff on the field, that's all that matters. Doesn't matter the battle damage number, so Moon Mirror Shield at 2, I think, is really, really good in this deck. Now for some other equip spells. Get your guys up big, United We Stand and Mage Power. Pretty self-explanatory. United We Stand, 800 for every monster. Mage Power, 500 for every spell / trap in your spell and trap card zone on your side of the field. So really, really awesome card, and definitely something that that can get your guys up slightly bigger. So if you got some direct attacks and stuff that you want to do, that is also really good. And now for my personal favorite engine in the deck, it is the Bamboo Sword engine. And you might be asking why put these in the deck, and the reason is simple. So I've seen one other profile sort of have these on there that I found, but the Bamboo Swords are very, very awesome because they sort of play into exactly the kind of deck that this is. You know, you always want to be drawing into more Dark Scorpions, and Cursed Bamboo Sword allows you to search other Bamboo Swords, and then also allows you to bounce a Bamboo Sword back to your hand, and you can attack directly. Your Dark Scorpions also fail if your opponent can assemble a big board, so Burning Bamboo Sword in here helps you skip the main phase 1. And then, just for a lark, I decided to also throw in a copy of Terminal World to kind of make it so that they can skip their main phase 2. And if you can get this off, it's a pretty funny combo. Your Dark Scorpions can just keep inflicting damage, and if you get like most of the stuff that your opponent's got off the field, there's really nothing that they can do as long as you can keep powering through your Burning Bamboo Sword there. So really, really cool engine, and something that that I feel is good in here because it slows, its method is to sort of slow down your opponent to a speed at which somehow Dark Scorpions can actually do some kind of harm to them, which is really what you're kind of looking for. Next, we got 1 copy of Release Restraint Wave. I'm thinking about switching this out for that new Raigeki card that's coming out. But Release Restraint Wave is great because you basically pop any one of your equip spells, and that, of course, includes a Cursed Bamboo Sword, which when it hits the grave, searches any Bamboo Sword. Release Restraint Wave, pop that, pop all set spell and traps your opponent controls, and then, you know, make it sort of tough for them if they've got a sort of back row. Because, you know, this deck, of the many things that it dies from, it also dies from back row. So that's quite unfortunate. Now we have one of each of these guys, Rhoda and Warrior Returning Alive. If we could play more Rhoda, that would be fantastic. If they gave Dark Scorpions their own Rhoda, that would be even better. But these guys just help you fetch your warrior. Since they're all warriors, they just help you fetch them from wherever you need to. And then that's that. And the final two spells are one each of Monster Reborn and Raigeki. You don't really have too much recursion in this deck, so it's always good to have some more. And then Raigeki just clears your opponent's board because your Dark Scorpions aren't beating over anything. Let's be real. Now, moving on to our trap cards. Pretty low trap card number. First thing starting out with is a personal tech here called Painful Escape. I love this card in this deck because it's sort of exactly what this deck needs to shore up one of its main weaknesses, which is getting Scorpions to your hand. Painful Escape basically says that you contribute one monster and then add a monster with the same original type, attribute, and level, but with a different original name from your deck to your hand. And as you notice with the Dark Scorpions, you actually have that quite a lot. Cliff and Chick, for instance, same, and as well as Mine and Dawn. So whichever one you're sort of missing there, if one of them is going to get popped or whatever, something like that, you can tribute it off with Painful Escape, grab the other one to your hand. Painful Escape is especially great for searching out Don Zalug so that you can have a live play with your monster card, the Mustering of the Dark Scorpions, and really make that worthwhile sort of play there. So that's really, really good. Next two cards that we are running in the deck right now, guys, is going to be 2 copies of Mirror Wall. Mirror Wall is absolutely phenomenal in this deck. I think it's better than Shrink because it doesn't work once, it works against all your opponent's monsters, and if they run into like, you know, a Mine or something, they take the damage and you still get a search. A lot of people don't really expect a card like this, very Duel Links kind of card, but still puts in quite a lot of work here in Dark Scorpions. And the final card is, again, one of those just for a lark cards, just to throw it in here. It is Dark Scorpion Combination, one of the craziest cards. Basically, if you resolve this thing, you're pretty much winning anyway, but its effect goes as follows. You can only activate this card when you have Don Zalug, Cliff the Trap Remover, Dark Scorpion Chick the Yellow, Dark Scorpion Gorg the Strong, and Dark Scorpion Mina the Thorn face up on your side of the field. And then during the turn this card is activated, any of these 5 cards can attack your opponent's life points directly, but their damage only becomes 400 points per card. So kind of terrible. It's a trap card, so you got to get it set. You know, getting all these guys to your hand and then getting them onto the field and then having a situation where this card is live, chances are you are more than likely going to win that duel. Like, there's very few opportunities for you to activate this where it, you know, even if it allowed them to have their original attacks, it would still kind of be bad, but you know, it is what it is. And the deck is 40 cards without this, so this is a very easy cut if you want to have like an actual playable Dark Scorpion deck, but I just kind of love to have this in here as sort of a character play. So that's going to about do it for the deck profile. The only extra deck monster I would consider running in here is Isolde, Two Tails of the Noble Knights, and the only reason I would say to run it, guys, is because you can basically use that card to get out more Dark Scorpions and make better Dark Scorpion plays and search out your bamboo swords and stuff like that. But that's going to about do it for this deck profile, guys. 41 cards, I believe, in total. Please let me know what you think in the comment section below. And, of course, if you guys have any suggestions or comments or things that you might think can improve this deck and improve its playstyle, please, of course, let me know. But once again, guys, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to you all for watching the channel coming into the new year, as well as to the one and only Cyframe NG, as well as Yorgi for the tripod and the playmat, respectively. But guys, this has been the Mermail Master with the Team Time Riders YouTube channel, and I'm signing out. Catch you guys next time. Peace.